Hi everyone, welcome to my channel EMT EduHub. In this lesson, we are going to discuss about types of economic system and its meaning. So let's get started. Economic system. It refers to the sum total of the arrangements for production and distribution of goods and services in a society. In short, it is defined as the sum of the total devices which give effect to economic choice. It includes various individuals and economic institutions. Now, if you want to know in detail about economic system, you can refer to my previous lesson on economic system and central problems of an economy. There are three types of economic system. First, capitalist or free enterprise economy. Second, socialist or centrally planned economy. Third, mixed economy. In order to understand this, we divide all the economies into three broad classifications based on their mode of production, exchange, distribution, and the role which government plays in economic activity. First is capitalist economy. Capitalism is an economic system in which all the means of production are owned and controlled by private individuals for their profit. In short, private property is the mainstay of capitalism and profit motive is its driving force. The government is not supposed to interfere in the management of economic affairs under this system. An economy is called capitalist or a free market economy if it has the following characteristics. First, right of private property. This means that productive factors such as land, factories, machinery, mines, etc. are under private ownership. The owners of these factors are free to use them in the manner in which they like. The government may, however, put some restrictions for the benefit of the society in general. Second, freedom of enterprise. This means everybody engages in any economic activity he likes. More specifically, he is free to set up any firm to produce goods. Third, freedom to choice by the consumers. This means people in a capitalist economy are free to spend their income as they like. This is known as consumer sovereignty. Consumers are sovereign in the sense producers produce only those goods which consumers wish to buy. Next, profit motive. In a capitalist economy, it is the profit motive which forces or induces the people to produce and work. Next, competition. Competition prevails among sellers to sell their goods and among buyers to obtain goods to satisfy their wants. Advertisement, price cutting, discounts, etc. are very common methods of competition in an capitalist economy. Last is inequality of incomes. There is generally a wide gap of income between the rich and the poor, which mainly arise due to unequal distribution of property in such economies. Next is socialist economy. In this economy, the material means of production, that is factories, capitals, mines, etc., are owned by whole community represented by the state. A socialist economy is also called as command economy or a centrally planned economy. Here, the resources are allocated according to the commands of a central planning authority and market forces have no role in allocation of resources. Some important characteristics are: first, collective ownership. There is collective ownership of all means of production except small farms, workshops, and trading firms, which may remain in private hands. As a result of social ownership, profit motive and self interest are not the driving force of economic activity. The resources here are used to achieve certain socio economic objective. Next, central planning authority. There is central authority to set and accomplish social economic goals. That is why it is called a centrally planned economy. Major economic decisions such as what to produce, when and how much to produce, etc., are taken by the central authority. Third, absence of consumer choice. Freedom from hunger is guaranteed, but consumer sovereignty gets restricted by selective production of goods. The range of choice is limited by planned production. However, within that range, an individual is free to choose what he likes the most. Next, relatively equal income distribution. Educational and other facilities are enjoyed more or less equally. Thus, the basic cause of inequalities are removed. Last, minimum role of price mechanism or market force. Price mechanism exists in a socialist economy, but it has only a secondary role. For example, to secure disposal of accumulated stocks. Since allocation of productive resources is done according to a predetermined plan, the price mechanism as such does not influence these decisions. Next is mixed economy. In a mixed economy, the aim is to develop a system which tries to include best features of both the controlled economy and the market economy while excluding the demerits of both. It appreciates the advantage of private enterprise and private property with their emphasis on self interest and profit motive. Features of a mixed economy are first, coexistence of private and public sector. In a mixed economy, there are three sectors of industries: private sector, public sector, and combined sector. Second, existence of economic planning. A mixed economy is planned economy, that is, an economy in which government has a clear and definite economic plan. Public sector enterprises have to work according to a plan and to achieve the objective laid down. The government has also to create necessary atmosphere for private sector to develop on its own. Next, positive role of the government. In a mixed economy, balanced regional development is expected. Public sector enterprise may be located in the backward region so as to ensure its development. Next, administrated price. In a mixed economy, a dual system of pricing exists. In private sector, prices of goods and factor of production are determined through the free play of market forces of demand and supply. But in public sector, the state determines price of various products. The state reserves itself the right to keep different prices for public sector units and private sector units. Now, types of economics on the basis of level of development: developed economy and developing economy. The countries are labeled developed or rich and developing or poor on the basis of real national and per capita income and standard of living of its population. Developed countries have higher national and per capita income, high rate of capital formation, that is, high savings and investment. They have highly educated human resources, better civil facility, health and sanitation facility, low birth rate, low death rate, low infant mortality, developed industrial and social infrastructure, and a strong financial and capital market. In short, developed countries have high standard of living, whereas developing countries are low on the ladder of development. They are sometimes also called underdeveloped, backward, or poor countries. But economists prefer to call them developing countries because it gives a sense of dynamism. The national or per capita income is low in these countries. They have backward agricultural and industrial sector with low savings, investment, and capital formation. Although these countries have export earnings, but generally they export primary agricultural products. In short, they have low standard of living and poor health and sanitation, high infant mortality, high birth rate, high death rate, and poor infrastructure. Thank you for your time. I hope concepts are clear. For further queries, you can reach out to me through comment section below. And also, if you want me to make more of such videos on any specific topic, do mention that in your comment. If you like the video, please like and subscribe my channel EMT EduHub by Divya, and don't forget to press the bell icon below.